Hi, I'm Karey. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and to my website, kareywilliams.com. This video is about what is energy therapy in the first place and what a session with me would look like. I have a lot of questions about that. There's a lot of different energy modalities out there. I'm trained in multiple ones. Some of my main ones that I like are rapid eye technology. I'm a master at that. Also, I've done Reiki, wings, as well as EFT, some of the basics. But let me explain energy in the easiest way that I can possibly explain it. See, Einstein's the one who said energy is everything, and it is. Everything is energy. Your thoughts are even energy. And if you look at it like this, that everything you think or feel or look at has a frequency to it. And let's just put it, to simplify it, on a scale of 1 to 10. Now, I'm not a total scientist, so if you want to have some references scientifically to this information, I think Bruce Lipton's Biology of Belief is a good reference. There's a lot of information out there. I might have some others that I'll put in the box below this YouTube video so you can see some other references if you want to have some real scientific look at it, because energy can be measured with scientific instruments now. It's like our technology is caught up to being able to really read our subtle energy systems, but it's been around in Chinese medicines for thousands and thousands of years. And if you've seen my previous video about how I got into the energy therapy business and about me, you'll know that I see energy too. And that's really handy dandy for working on people. But anyway, so we take it down to just frequencies. Let's say that joy and gratitude is up here at a really high vibrational frequency. We'll say that on a scale of 1 to 10, that's a 10. And down here would be shame out of 1, okay? Heck, I'd say shame's even below that, because shame is probably the lowest frequency that you can be in. Brene Brown has a lot of great information on shame, and you can check out her information as well, because I think shame is, for me, in the 10 years that I've worked with clients, one of the first things that we need to clear out is shame in order for people to heal, especially from addictions, because shame really keeps you looping in the pattern that you're in. Anyway, so I believe, and this belief will never change, I believe that you are perfect as God created you. I believe that I'm perfect as God created me. Now, you can substitute God for whatever works for you. If you don't believe in a God, if you want to just think of a higher power, universe, whatever works for you. But you are perfect as you were created. I will never have a question about that, even about myself, even if I'm hard on myself. So if you're perfect as you're created, then the experiences that you have might not seem so perfect, but truthfully, they probably are perfect for you. But what happens is we start to believe things that are not true. We start to take on lies and illusions. And if we take on things that are not true, we're taking on particular frequencies, and we can start to believe them. Now, if you think about your neural pathways in your brain, we all have neural pathways, neural nets. One of the modalities that I work in is really great with working with your neural pathways. That's rapid eye technology. But if you look at your neural pathways, like you got in your car maybe to drive today, let's give that example, or to brush your teeth. I mean, you didn't think, how do I drive this car? Or you didn't think, what do I do to brush my teeth? Am I supposed to put something on this toothbrush? And where do I go? You don't, you just do it. So neural pathways are fabulous. But what if you have a neural pathway for I'm not good enough, or I don't deserve, or people I love leave me? Let's give those kind of examples. Those kind of belief systems will keep you looping in and attracting the same amount. Because when you look at frequency, we are frequency. Our thoughts and our feelings that we put out come back to us. You're like a big radio tower. I'm just gonna give you a little drawing here. Little whiteboard action. All right, so hopefully my hair is okay. My husband, he literally licked his hand and fixed my hair before I started this video. How funny is that? All right, so here you are, but I imagine you're all much, much more beautiful than my drawing, the stick figure. If you think of yourself as a radio tower, you are literally putting out signals, and signals are coming back to you. Just like you tune in your radio, you can tune into particular kind of things that you want to attract. But if you're believing lies and illusions, if you're living in lower frequencies, so a lot of times you will experience those lower frequencies. A lot of them are subconscious, and you don't even realize that you're dealing with them. So you have several different energy systems. First one I'm going to talk about is your auric field. Now, many of you are probably really familiar with the word aura. A lot of times there's old pictures of like Jesus or saints where they show them glowing and the energy around them. That's an example of them. Everybody has an auric field. It goes out in layers and levels. I work in a lot of layers. Who knows how far out it goes? I'm just telling you what I see. I see about 3 or 4 with my own eyes, but I do work in about 12 of them because I can sense some of them too. Anyway, you need an auric field to exist on this planet. It would be like going to outer space without a spacesuit if you didn't have it. In fact, when I see people who are ready to pass away, like I had a 19-year-old client who I adored, and God, it kind of makes me emotional thinking about him, but when he came in session after session, he had testicular cancer. His auric field was getting thinner and thinner and thinner, and I knew he was transitioning, and that was his path. It was his time to go, but the auric field does become thinner, I think, when we go to the other realm. This is all with my experience. You might have a different experience or have a different understanding than me, and that's totally cool. I'd love to hear what you think and what your belief systems are. I'm just telling you what my experiences are. This will get thinner once people die. But there's other things that can happen to the auric field. It can collapse in on itself. Usually it's about 6 to 10 inches out, one of your first layers. It can collapse on yourself. A lot of times I see people tired, pulls in. I've seen people with literally jagged energy, and that's usually when they're having energetic attacks on their system. And we can talk about that some other time. I'm just going to kind of go over the basics. It can have rips and tears in it, depending. And if you're believing a lot of limiting beliefs, most of the time it will have some kind of rip and tear in it. But that's one energy system that I work in. And again, this is going to be just a basic. Maybe in the future I'll go over what all of them mean. But right now, if that's something you're interested in, just let me know in the comments. But then you have what are called your chakras. Those energy systems. That is something that I will do videos on in the future because they all have specific meanings. If you do a lot of yoga, you probably heard the word chakra, but most people to this day now have heard the word chakra. Like I said, in Chinese medicine, it's been around for thousands and thousands of years. You have, well, most people say 7 main ones. I work in about 12 main ones, but you actually have them all over your body. It's actually is the word Sanskrit? I always say it wrong. Sanskrit for wheel of light. They're kind of elliptical. 7 main ones, some below your body, like 1.5 feet below your body. I work at an 8th one I just number it, number 8, based on my training. It's about 6 inches above your head. Anyway, these are all processing particular types of energy. Like, for example, your heart center is it will process a grief or being loved and lovable. Your 2nd chakra, about 1 inch below your belly button, does process like sexuality, for example, or your creativity, or maybe guilt and shame hangs out there. So sometimes when I look at people, I can see the actual blocks. Now, if I can't visibly see it, I'll either feel it, or we can actually muscle test, do kinesiology to know what's going on. But we'll know. Most of the time you'll know just based on what you're saying. I'll know exactly what blocks are coming up. And by the way, you don't have to be in the same room with me for me to know. Energy is non-local. It's a beautiful thing. You can be in a totally different state. I do Skype sessions all the time, and you can see it. I can feel it. I can read people's energy, even talking to them on the phone. You can feel it. So anyhow, they're very subtle, these energy systems. You can literally feel them, and I'll kind of show you a way that you can see them. But just so you know, you can consider them like city hubs. Like, if you think about Las Vegas compared to Los Angeles, compared to New York City, compared to where I live in Salt Lake City, they all have a different vibe. If you go into the city, you'd be like, that is a totally different vibe. Las Vegas is totally different than Salt Lake City. They all process their own type of vibe. So look at it that way. And then you have what are called energy meridians. We have 12 to 14 is what is known in basically most systems, but they're basically the energy highways. You could also call them chi life force energy. They're like the highways, and I'm not going to draw them all, but they're just the lines running through. If I draw them all, obviously this is going to look like a scribbly mess, but quite frankly, your energy ends up looking like a whole scribbly mess of grid work that is intelligently designed. So we'll draw them, and energy needs a few things. It needs room to flow, like your chakras need to flow. Just within themselves. Your energy highways need to be able to be clear, like free roadblocks, so to say. Your auric field needs to be fluffed out where it needs to be. And then they all get to work together. All the systems work together. So like your meridians work with your chakras, work with your auric field. And I kind of draw it like this because it really just looks like a grid work. And energy crosses over too. It needs to cross over to be balanced. I will do a video about keeping your energy crossed over, because I think that's super important. Because if it's not crossed over, you'll feel tired, your thinking will be cloudy. Anyway, so you look at this and you think, oh, it's just a scribbly mess, but that is in the best way I can draw two-dimensionally what you look like three-dimensionally. And then when we do energy work, the idea is we clean up any of these blocks or any of these limiting beliefs or anything that's got stuck or trapped. We clean it up. So we talk about frequencies. You want to be in that, as you were created, perfect frequency up here. And these experiences that you've had, these lower frequencies, the idea is to move them out, because I don't heal you. You heal yourself. Healing's within you. This is just a tool that moves energy. Energy therapies are just tools that move energy and help you open up and realizing. And then we replace that with some great life skills, some good neural pathways. So you don't want that neural pathway for thinking you're not lovable. You want to keep that neural pathway, obviously, for driving. You'll keep things that are truth. But you want to create, if you don't feel worthy, you want to create the neural pathway that I am worthy, because that radio signal that you are will attract things into your life that help you understand how worthy you are. So if you think about a room, if you've ever gone into a room and you've cleaned out a bunch of garbage, like my garage, it is a disaster. I have a lovely pack rat husband who's getting a lot better clearing stuff out, and I hope that he doesn't mind that sometimes I'm going to give him a hard time on my videos as he's in here filming. But anyway, he's kind of pack ratty. I'm looking off camera, but when we cleaned out some of the stuff that he had, we had garbage bags. If you look at garbage bags full, let's say we cleaned out about 5 garbage bags full. They're about this tall, right, and this wide. Think about all that stuff that we didn't need in that room, that space. That was just stuff blocking how you feel. It's like clearing the clutter. So it's like clearing energetic clutter. So in a session with me or with any other energy therapist, hopefully, if you get a good one, you will feel lighter. Like you'll feel like you literally had an energetic weight lift, because that's what it is. It's a literal mass, just like that garbage sack that you were moving out, and you're moving out of your field, so things start to flow better. I'm going to do a little trick with you right now. So you might have done this in your science class when you were little, like in junior high or something, but if you take your hands and you cup them like this, one facing upwards, one facing down, and then flip them over, just keep cupping them. You're just palming your hand, and then flip it over again. And again, we're just going to do this for just a second. You can do a little body shake, groove with it if you want to. And then what you're going to do now is you're going to quickly put them together and then slowly pull them out. When you do that, you can feel the magnetism, the electromagnetism in your body. So it feels like I'm pushing in on a magnet and pushing back. If you didn't put your hands fast enough together, you might not feel it. So you can stop the video and try it again if you really want to. So anyway, that is what your energy can feel like. If you have loved ones, you can practice feeling it on them. Sometimes I think the easiest one to feel is your 6th chakra, which is about, they call it the third eye right here in the middle. If you come in, you'll feel like you need to stop when you get to it. It's so subtle. The other one I think is really easy to feel is your 8th chakra. So if you turn your hand on the top of your head, face it upwards, and just put it up and just go. You want to go about 6 to 8 inches until you feel like stopping. It's very subtle. I watch clients do this, and sometimes they'll stop and then they'll think, do I really stop? They'll kind of second guess themselves, and that's totally fine. But if you've noticed what your hands feel like here, it kind of feels the same. It's very subtle. And then you'll be able to feel some of these energy systems. But like I said, scientific instruments can measure them, pick them up. There's even instruments that pick up your frequency of what you're feeling. Like if you're feeling joy, I remember the way it looked like a wave when somebody was angry. When I saw this test, I can't remember exactly who it was, but if I remember who it was, I'll put a link. But it's like a jagged energy when somebody's feeling the frequency of anger. So there's all these frequencies, and emotions are great. But the problem is we can start to loop in that frequency. We can start to loop in the anger, the frustration, and then it builds up. And then it can get stopped and stuck, and you start to believe things that don't work in your life. So when you come in, I'll ask you 2 questions. If you're going to come do a session with me, I'll ask you, what do you want? With all things possible, what do you want to create? And the second thing that I'll ask you is, what do you not want? Because a lot of times it's easier for people to say what they don't want versus what they want. So we can actually take what you don't want and flip it around to knowing what you do want. And that'll help me know where we're going to go, what we're going to clear, what limiting beliefs we're going to clear out of the way for you to reach what you do want, and to help you out with that. The other thing is, if you listen to my previous video about me learning that I did go to school to be psychology, but just ended up getting a sociology degree because I decided it didn't work as well as what I wanted to be doing at the time. Anyway, when people talk about their stuff and they discuss their stuff, like I only attract people who are ready to clear. So when they come and they sit down, their stuff starts to move, and I can see it moving in these fields. A lot of times it just looks like denser, almost cloudy energy. For me is what it looks like. Now, know that that's just the language of my own understanding and weaknesses. It's going to speak to me that way. If you see energy, which I attract a lot of people into my practice who are light workers themselves, needing to clear some things out or wondering about their own gifts, I find that I attract a lot of people like that to help light workers out. So if you're already somebody who sees energy or senses it, some people hear it, there's all sorts of things. But no matter what, you experience it. There's no way you do not experience energy. The first thing that you experience when you walk in a room is the energy vibe, what it feels. You may think it's what it looks like. You may think it's somebody's body language, but it's literally the energy that you feel. You're picking it up through those auric fields. It's like that two-way radio signal. It's like when you can walk in a room and know somebody had been fighting in it without any indication. You can feel that. Or you can walk into a place and go, wow, something really good just happened here. Some of you probably had that experience. So everybody experiences energy. But anyway, so whether you see it or feel it, it's there. And when you start to talk about it, or you're intentional about what you want to release, it starts to come up in these fields. And I have techniques through the energy therapy, through the modalities that I do, that actually moves it out of the fields. So if I was a psychologist, like I couldn't imagine just sitting and talking to somebody about their issues and saying, bye, see you next week, when it's all floating in their field. So it's nice to know that there's modalities that can move that out so you can feel a little bit lighter. And all of the things that start in your energy will end up manifesting in your emotions, in your body, in your thought processes. So a lot of times it's just down to the energy that we need to get in there in order for you to experience the things that you want in your physical. So I was really excited when I found energy work and how it just kind of fit with my life path. I love what I do. I love to answer questions about it when I have the time, for sure. Please use any method of getting a hold of me. You can email me based on, if you go to KareyWilliams.com, you'll find my contact information. Make sure you spell it right because it's a kind of a weird spelling. And you can also put some comments if you have some comments here in the comment section underneath this video here on YouTube. And I look forward to bringing you more things that you can do, more meditations, more ways of working with your energy. Now that we've got these basics out of the way of what energy therapy is, like we are going to really dive in and work on some really cool things as time goes on. So I hope you subscribe to my videos so you always know when my YouTube channel, so you always know when great things are coming out. And I hope you have a fabulous day, and we'll see you again.